Welcome everybody to the Krogg and Qwerty Show's Cash Vault, coming at you right now with a new installment of it. I got Krogg here on Discord. What's up, Krogg?
What's up, Qwerty? How's it going, everybody?
And I'm of course Qwerty. He said
Yeah.
Qwerty. Alright, so we're doing something a little different today. As we want to keep the Cash Vault kind of structured differently, so it's not the same old. So today we're just kind of doing a sit down with me and Krogg. We're gonna go through like all our retro systems that we had and like what was our go-to like co-op games for like hunkering down when, you know, school's out or something and or you can't go anywhere for whatever reason. We just got
co-op game.
Yeah, couch co-op. You know, you
Most
get
will
your
be
snacks and
non-
whatever, and you just have that
online.
sleepover that whole weekend. You have like your buddies over, just go ham. All right, so we're gonna start right off with NES, so Nintendo Entertainment Center system, not center.
System.
That would be a C.
Center, what the hell?
So Nintendo
That
Entertainment
would be a C.
System. What comes to mind, Krogg? What do you got?
All right. Well, obviously, you gotta mention Mario real quick. That is, all of the Marios are great co-op games. Cabal was it was kind of like a shooter, but kind
It's
of
a
like
hard game.
Time Crisis. Yeah, it was hard. You moved the cursor around the screen and shoot, but it was actually a really fun game and really challenging. That was a two-player co-op, kind of Contra style ish.
Yeah, you had like targets
right
on
next to each other.
It was hard because I think you had to like move your target, but then also move your character. And like I recently just downloaded it for an emulator for my phone, and it was possible on the phone because you have to be too accurate, and like the sensitivity is really touchy. It was hard to like aim on stuff. NES. I mean, yeah, I guess just like any kind of collection. You got one of those collection
Kirby's Dream
ones,
Course.
right? Like I like all the
Was
classics.
that the NES? I think it was the NES. That might have been the Super, actually.
I think it might have.
They
They may have had a Kirby or something.
I'm
But
jumping ahead here.
But yeah, that's fine. We can go to the Super NES because yeah, for the NES and me,
That
it's
has
like
to
any
be
of the
more.
classics. I don't really, you know, I don't depict a better one than the other. It's more if I'm playing NES, I'll just be like, oh, I remember this game. I'll play it and it's fun. All right, so
Oh wait, no, one I do. The very first installment of Gauntlet on NES was great.
yeah.
That is a great.
And then
co-op
like
game.
Zelda and stuff. Well, Zelda wasn't really co-op, but still play it with other people. But yeah, Gauntlet was good. Sure, it was very difficult at first. All right, so moving on to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. We got obviously Mario Kart.
Donkey Kong Country.
Donkey Kong Country. Huge.
Kirby's Dream Course was like, it's kind of like a golf game with Kirby.
Right.
Yeah, it's a really good game. I like that for co-op. What else do we got? F-Zero. All the racing games are great. F-Zero is it was on the mini NES. It's kind of like a futuristic racing game. It's very challenging.
And yeah, it's kind of complicated because like I know they had like F-Zero and stuff for the 64, which is the one that I remember more. But then I do remember F-Zero. Maybe I'm thinking of some Wipeout or something. It's hard to remember back and see what what was what because you remember it differently.
Wipeout was PlayStation 1. Yeah.
There was something on. I mean, maybe I'm thinking Wave Race or something for the 64, but. But yeah, those are all good games. Going like right around that same time, Sega. Sega was a huge system, and that just had so many things.
They have fighters. Oh, remember Clay Fighter?
Yeah, Clay Fighters. They like I said that before, the Global Gladiators. It was really fun to play together. Sonic
Combat.
All the Sonics are really fun to play. You know.
Tiny Toons Adventures. Great co-op game.
I don't even.
Yeah, it's a
I remember it,
ton of,
but
like,
I
little
don't.
mini games.
Oh.
You don't remember the soccer game? Oh man, the soccer game in that was awesome.
Yeah, I can't really.
We had Sega
call it.
Channel, so
Right, we played a lot.
yeah,
Sega Channel was huge, so that
yeah,
definitely we played a
Tiny.
lot of things, the mutant hockey and stuff, as we mentioned before. Really good.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, these retro systems just again, it's like I can't pick one title. I just kind of go through them and like, oh yeah, I remember this
there's a
game. Let's
lot
play
of
this
good
game.
co-op. Yeah,
There is
I
for
would
sure.
say if you haven't tried it, Tiny Toon Adventures on Sega
It is
is
such
just
an
that's a great play.
odd
It is.
suggestion.
It's odd, but it's
Very odd.
so fun. I remember that game
I do and I
distinctly.
don't like it. It's tough.
Because they have like a whole bunch of mini games, and soccer was like the best one.
What was the
But yeah,
system that we had that mat for, where you do like the Olympic games? We would use our hands instead of our feet for the running, so we'd run really
oh,
fast, and then you
that was
jump
the
really high.
NES.
Because you jump
Yeah, that
really
was
high.
the
Even
NES.
was it the NES or was it the SNES? I don't know. I can't. One of
No, it was
those.
the NES with the foot pad. Yeah. Well, they remade it for the SNES and had new
Right.
games and stuff. The one we played was the NES,
That
the original.
I remember the Sega was like our dad's, and the Super Nintendo was like ours. So, like if I'd stay home from school sick and he was at work, my mom would let me play the Sega, and we would play stuff like Raid and Trad, Steel Empire, and those were really fun together. Because even if we were just watching each other, I mean, I think there was a lot of it growing up, even single player games, because we didn't have this huge multiplayer universe that we live in now. It was more like, oh, you try, and then I'll watch you, and I'll take
Yeah.
notes of what you did wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and then oh, my turn, and like he would just take turns with everything, and it was fine. Everyone just kind of hang out. You have some snacks,
Oh,
whatever, and that's just what you did.
SNES
Hmm.
Altered Beast is a great game for two people to try
Yeah, see, again, like
if
it's
you haven't
good.
tried it. Golden Axe as well.
Golden Axe, I think that's Sega. Altered
Hmm.
Beast is Sega. I'm not
Yep.
sure.
Oh yeah, they are Sega. That's right.
Right. Again, it's one of
They
those
might
things
have had
like
SNES ports,
it's
but
to
I
me
don't
there's
know.
not much to those games. Like you can only play so much of them. Golden Axe a little more.
Well,
But
those are games you try and beat. Like
right.
you grab a buddy and you're like, all right, we're gonna sit down and beat this game.
Right, and that's what I'm kind of saying. Like that's what it used to be back in the day, and that's when everyone played single player games. Now it's like, I mean, I still play the retro stuff, but it's just like I don't really like single player games anymore. Krog really does, just because like storylines, and I get the storylines, and
Like all gaming.
there's
Yeah.
definitely been ones, but nowadays I'm more the go-to of like multiplayer, even if it is just like a local network where you're just playing with friends on the same TV or something.
Yeah.
I like some
All
kind of
right.
competitiveness. Competitive.
Any more Sega like co-op we can think of?
Hmm.
Um,
I don't really know. We got a bunch to go though, so
yeah,
I'm
we
gonna
can
go.
keep on.
Also, my dad also had a Turbo Graphics, and that had like he had
Oh
like
yeah.
Fantasy Zone on it. He had like Slaughterhouse. He had like Madden Football and stuff, and like I don't know if I didn't really play those couch co-op that much, so but I just wanted to give it a mention because it was another system that we owned. But
And
moving
we did
along,
play. Yeah.
yeah, we go to the next step up, which was the PlayStation 1, the 64, the Dreamcast. Those all came out around the same time. I got one that like jumps out, obviously 64 again is like Mario Kart. Then they came out with like Mario Party. Well, they had Mario Party on Super NES too, but
The Soul Calibur games. Those were good.
yeah, but were those multiplayer?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a fighting game, the Soul Calibur.
Oh, okay, that's right. I was thinking it was Star Ocean or
Those were
something. I
good.
don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, any fighting game was really good. Mortal Kombat, stuff like that. Uh, what else did they have? This thing?
N64, a couple racing games like Wave Race, Diddy Kong Racing.
Right, so like the
Diddy
racing
Kong's
games and
great.
stuff. The adventure games were pretty good. So like Mario World, because you would like do a board, and then
Oh,
it was such a long game that you could just like do a board, then hand it to the next person. You just keep going in rotation and trying to
if
beat.
you like, yeah, sorry. If you like baseball games, Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball is one of the best baseball games I've ever played.
Right, but I don't know how it would like. Yeah, I think when I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking more story-driven stuff or like RPG type stuff where the mechanics aren't so much. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how the baseball game would stack up to like newer.
Well, it's a good co-op.
Right, right.
I think it's pretty good. I think even the baseball games still like hold true to this day for a certain audience, of course. Yeah, it's nice to play those retro games sometimes, and see the old great, remember the old greats that used to play the game. So not bad. All
But
right,
yeah, all right. So PlayStation 1, I think of like I believe it was called Reloaded. I,
yeah, that's a good one.
yeah, Reloaded. It was like you go back and it's like kind of shitty to play because it was like a top-down shooter, but you could only shoot at like 10-degree angles. It might have been even worse than that. It might have been like 15 or 20. But it was hard to hit things. You had to strafe a lot to like hit what you wanted. Like going back and playing it. But I mean, it was like I remember going to my uncle's. He had a PlayStation, and like we didn't have one yet, and just like playing those types of games was like just mind blowing to us. Virtual Fighter, stuff like that. We would just play it, and just eventually when we got our own system, like it was different. We played more single player games because
Final Fantasy VII was like the first game we got.
Right, Final Fantasy VII and like Game Day '98 or something like that.
Yeah, Game Day.
Or whatever it was. I don't remember which one it was, but yeah, we got that. So we played football and like basically football was our co-op. Final Fantasy VII was more like
in the beginning
yourself, not so much a cooperative
that was like
thing.
The best Christmas ever. Was the PlayStation 1 Christmas.
Yeah. That I remember the one Christmas I got the Blink-182 live album, and I got Ready to Rumble, that like cartoony boxing game.
That's a good one.
And I just sat there and just played that so long. But yeah, this is the kind of getting to the turn because we still did like things like Legend of Dragoon. We'd all be sitting like in the same room, like playing it. Like we'd have our own games.
Yeah, one person playing.
Right.
Yeah.
We'd have like our own saves, and sometimes we would just play our own saves while the other people kind of watch, and then they would do whatever, and then we'd have like we started doing where we'd have a community save. So when we all got together, we would just play the community save where we could pass a controller around, and it was like all our game. And then when everyone go home, and you got a few hours at the end of the night, then you'd play your save, and depending on where you were, it helped figure things out.
Yeah, because PlayStation N64 was kind of before the whole online thing.
Right.
So, yeah, we were more into RPGs at that time. I remember, like, Wild Arms, Legend of Dragoon, freaking Chrono Cross, like...
Right.
Yeah, just tons of RPGs. We must have owned, like, 90% of them. Breath of Fire, like... I know we owned, at some point, 90% of the RPGs on PlayStation. Because we just...
Right, Lunar stuff,
yeah, I started working when I was 14, so every week
yeah, we
go
go
to the game
something
store.
Else.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, like a lot of those weren't really like co-op. A lot of that was just something that you would do on your own.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. PlayStation 1, we didn't really do as much co-op.
Right, I think the 64 we did more because like our buddy had the 64 when we had the PlayStation before we ever got a 64. So it was like we'd go over to his house and we'd play like Zelda and stuff, but they were single player games, but we played it kind of multiplayer, like turn based.
Oh, there is one. There is one main game. Play Tony Hawk 1 and 2.
Yeah, those were
huge.
That's where I was kind of talking about like having the weekend where like, you know, your parents be out of town or something, you have like 11 of your skating buddies over and you're all crowded around a TV like playing Tony Hawk, and then obviously once PlayStation 2 came out and stuff, you had Rock Band and stuff like that. So, I mean, going into that, I mean, I didn't really say much about Dreamcast. I don't think it had Shenmue, but I didn't think that was really...
That's
and then
single player.
And then I was thinking like Crazy Taxi.
Soul Calibur.
Something like that.
Crazy Taxi's good. Soul Calibur is like their main co-op game.
Right. But, I mean,
that's
on like a lot of different things now, so it's like I don't think... When I think Dreamcast, that's not what I think. I think like Crazy Taxi and Shenmue. So Crazy Taxi, something like that. starting to
Sonic.
get into those games like State of Emergency, stuff like that, where it was fun, quick runs, you could switch between players really quickly. So it was just like basically Tony Hawk, like score beaters, like you're trying to beat someone's high score, and that's what I remember about that. But yeah, going into the PlayStation 2, because that's all I can really think of Dreamcast, unless you got anything else.
Well, if you were going to buy Sonic games for the Dreamcast, or Sonic games in
Right.
general, just Sonic Adventure 1, the original, and the second one are the best, like, 3D Sonic games
Right, and they got the little
that
memory cards that you can put your chows on.
Sega has to offer. Yeah, any of the other ones I wouldn't go for. Any of the new ones I wouldn't go for. Sonic Adventure and Adventure 2 are
Oh, pretty damn
the
good.
epitome. Those are amazing games. So, yeah.
But yeah, then
Go for
obviously Dreamcast, that ended the Sega era, so they didn't really have anything else. But then came the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox era. So then you started getting all the rhythm games, stuff like that.
Bust a Groove, freaking.
I think that was PlayStation 1, though.
That might have been PlayStation.
Bust a Groove was PlayStation 1.
I'm going backwards here.
Yeah.
Frequency.
Right. But I was just saying, yeah, it started the whole Guitar Hero thing. It had frequency and then amplitude, and they're like the rhythm games where you just use the buttons, 3 buttons on the controller.
Yeah.
Then eventually spawned, Guitar Hero, which spawned Rock Band, and then those just became huge party games that just like were great when you're around your friends and just had some time to like, jam out and have some laughs, and
Yeah.
it was definitely a good time.
Star Wars Jedi Academy is a good game
I don't know
for PS2.
that because I'm thinking co-op games, like my go-to
That
co-op.
was the co-op one. Yeah, that was the co-op one where
But like I never
it had
played it, I
lightsaber
don't
play and stuff. I did play it because I was looking for online games at the time.
Oh, it was
'Cause it was
online.
Yeah, it was online and it was like a deathmatch kind of thing. It's pretty good, and
Okay.
you can't play it obviously online
I kind of
today
remember that now. Well, yeah, but we're just talking.
unless you like LAN it with a buddy, but
Mhm.
but still, like you can do couch co-op with have split
Right.
screen.
Then we had like
And it's pretty good.
stuff like ATV Off-Road Fury. Yeah, that.
Oh, that's a great one.
And like
The
that would just
second
be like the same thing. It'd be in the summer, we have nothing to do, we'd work. We'd go skateboard all day on our days off, and then at night we'd stay up till 4 in the morning playing stuff like that, like Off-Road Fury, and just free roaming games that were a lot of fun. We could do a lot of stupid things, have a lot of good laughs. It was definitely some huge games for us
Liberty
there.
City, Grand Theft Auto started.
Right, all that kind of stuff.
3D.
Crap, there was one I was just thinking of, I forgot, but I'm sorry. Alright, so yeah, when I'm thinking of that, that's mainly for PlayStation 2. I still feel a little bit like the PlayStation 2, we did a lot of solo playing games. But there was Dark Alliance. There's a long list of games we played on PS2.
We did play online.
So,
yeah, like SOCOM. All the SOCOM.
Yeah, that's right. I thought, that was PlayStation 2. So the
That
SOCOM,
was
man.
PlayStation 2.
We played way too many games on that. I can't even think of it all. I'm probably missing some basic ones that we've always played.
Yeah, the PS2 had the most games of any
Oh, yeah.
system.
Dave Mira. Just like Tony Hawk, Dave Mira. Like
Yep,
BMX
Dave
and stuff.
Mira.
It was just
The
a great
second one
system.
we played a lot of.
And then you go over to Xbox, so Microsoft's first play in the game. Great system, way overpowered for the time frame. And it's Halo. Halo's huge.
Halo, Breakdown, or
right.
Breakout. What is it? Breakout?
Breakout? Burnout?
Burnout 3.
Burnout 3, yeah, that's a fun co-op game. If you see, we got a couple couch co-op, unco-op videos, and it shows a bunch of the original Xbox games that are really fun to play. Kind of take a step back, nostalgia. But yeah, definitely Halo, I remember that. Because Halo, to me, was the step up from a game that we didn't mention on the 64, which was GoldenEye. Like, that, to me, is like, when you think couch co-op on the 64, I'm thinking Mario Kart and I'm thinking GoldenEye. But yeah, then upping it to the Xbox, you had that 4-way split screen with the 3 of your buddies, Halo. Like, that's just I will never forget it. Like anytime I think back, be like, oh, what's one of the best
Yeah.
couch co-op retro games I've played? Like that's at the top of the list. Like that's what I think
Halo
of.
2 is definitely top 5 games
Right.
ever. Definitely.
Good. I don't know about top 5 for me,
Definitely, and
but
then
it's
you got,
definitely an arguable mention for sure.
and then the Dead or Alive series, starting with 3 and up, is really good.
See, I didn't really play Dead or Alive that much. I played more Mortal
For
Kombat.
fighter fans,
Right,
well, yeah,
right, right.
obviously. I'm just saying an obscure, maybe you didn't hear of it, title. Dead or Alive is really good fighter.
Mhm. Well, it's still around. I think everyone knows what Dead or Alive is.
Yeah, it's still, yeah, true.
I mean,
They
they're
really
coming
started to
out with
come in
them.
their own
Right,
on the third one.
right. I keep losing what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something else for the Xbox.
Gran Turismo, right? Gran Turismo
No, that was
a great co-op
PlayStation.
game.
Oh yeah, that was PlayStation. Yeah, Gran Turismo was really good. Man, what was that one Xbox? Ah, I keep losing my train of thought. All right, well, I'll probably think of it. We'll keep moving on. So the last thing I want to talk about is handhelds.
Time Splitters.
Well, yeah, Time Splitters. Yeah, there's a ton of good games. I had one
All
specifically that was something that we played together, and it was a really good co-op game.
Dark Alliance.
That was PlayStation 2.
Baldur's Gate.
I was thinking of the Xbox.
That also came out.
Something
Yeah,
Xbox.
Xbox.
Can't remember. Something we played. Whatever.
Something.
Moving along. We got all right. So I just want to do real quick because I don't want to get into all the newest systems. I mean, this video is getting pretty long, about 20 minutes. So I just want to finish out with quick handheld that you could think of, handheld games that this isn't necessarily co-op. They do have co-op versions like on the PlayStation and stuff, but I'm thinking of games that like Game Boy and the first Pokemons. But you had the Pokemons, and then they had the dual connectors and stuff. But even still, it's something great when you just stuck at home and you find an old Game Boy.
If you're a Final Fantasy fan and you've played Final Fantasy Tactics on the PlayStation 1, they made 2 more Final Fantasy Tactics style games.
Right, for the DS.
For the DS. I beat both of them, actually.
Right. I mean, if you are a fan
game.
of Final Fantasy Tactics, you don't know that. I doubt that's even possible.
Well, you might miss it. Because
it's you at least know there's 2. You at least know that because that would be something you're looking for. That's why I found 2 when I started playing it, didn't finish it, gave it to you, you beat it, and then you got 3 because you beat 2, so you were looking for 3. But yeah, that was really good. Again, that's not really multiplayer, but it's just something that...
No, not at all.
With those systems back in the day, we would all have our own, and we could all sit there and play and just kind of hang out, and you'd play that. But yeah, those were mainly for, again, couch play. You're stuck in a car for 24 hours, stuff like that. It was great before they had phones, and a lot of those games back then with the handheld, the PSP had a lot of really good games, and then you had just all the Game Boy games, different Zeldas, different RPGs, the Pokemon,
Pokemon, definitely.
Yeah, they're just huge games, time killers, and way better than mobile games are today.
Way better than mobile games today, exactly.
You just don't.
So you can get your hands on one for your kid.
Yeah, the only thing I could really find is that Roblox, that's pretty good, and that should be something you look into because basically people mod games. So I found a modded version of a 3D world, not the best graphics, but a 3D world of a replica of Pokemon. And that was kind of cool to play, but again, it's user created, so there's a little off things here and there, and there's a few glitches, so it's not the best. But yeah, so that's about it. That's kind of our retro list. I'm thinking PS3. There's a lot of games that are on PS4 that were from PS3, so I don't really look at that as PS2 and Xbox aren't really retro, but I don't know. How many years is retro? Yeah, because they're good.
20, 30.
Yeah, I don't know. what is it? Classic Cars is like 30 years or some shit. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure. We'll have to look
Really
that up.
good.
If you know that, put that in the comments below. Also, on your way down there, hit the sub button, hit the like button. Much appreciate it. Love you for it.
Our unco-op challenges.
Check out our unco-op challenges, and then down in the comments of this one, I want you to state like what's your go-to game when you got to hunker down for, you know, a weekend or you're sick or something. You can't go anywhere. You can't go to work.
Retro game.
Well, whatever it is, whatever your go-to is. I don't care. If it's retro, if you want to stick with Krogg here, go right ahead. If you want to say something nowadays, I just don't want to hear Call of Duty. Like, just that's such a cop out. Like, I hear they do like interviews of celebrities, be like, "Oh, what's your go-to game?" Call of Duty. Call of Duty. Oh my god! Like, yeah, no shit. Everyone plays Call of Duty, but
yeah, it's been the same since Call of Duty 3.
Right, exactly. So, all right, there you guys have it. And on that note, I am Qwerty here with Krogg. We're signing out, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Peace.